Well, good morning and welcome. I pulled a hamstring yesterday, but I'm okay. I'm Paul Malandrino, Vice President and Airport Manager here at Reagan National, and we're honored to have you join us today to dedicate new screening checkpoints and new concourse, which are part of the Project Journey construction program here at National. Now, these beautiful facilities will provide a tremendous service improvement for our customers for many years to come. And all of us at Reagan National appreciate the patience of everyone during the construction of these two projects. As airport manager, I'm thrilled with the positive public response we've received since the new concourse, the 14-gate concourse, replaced the much-loved Gate 35X. And I'm sure we will receive the same positive comments when we flip to the two new screening checkpoint buildings, one of which we're in today. Soon you'll be hearing from Jack Potter, who's our president and CEO, Bill Pseudo, who's the chairman of our board, and other significant speakers, distinguished speakers, But before we do that, and before Mr. Potter comes up to the stage to talk about Project Journey in more detail, I want to recognize National Police Week. Normally it is celebrated in May, but because of COVID-19, it was rescheduled for this week. And this airport plays a special role in Police Week in that we're a gathering place for all the families who have lost a police officer as they travel to Washington to honor their family member. Our police department takes immense pride in making sure that every arrival is greeted by officers as part of this very impressive program. So I think it's appropriate that we start this morning's program with a showing of the colors, a presentation of the colors by the joint Metropolitan Washington Airports Authority Honor Guard and the Transportation Security Honor Guard. That'll be followed by the singing of the National Anthem by Reagan National Transportation Screening Officer, Nyana Jeffries. So please rise for the presentation of the colors.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the podium the President and CEO of the Metropolitan Washington Airports Authority, John E. Potter.
Sometimes known as Jack. So first of all, let me thank Officer Jeffries for that great rendition of our national anthem, and also thank you to the Joint Honor Guard. Thank you. I want to begin by thanking you all for joining us today, and a big welcome to our special guests and our speakers. We really are excited that you were able to join us. We're thrilled that so many of you could be with us here today. This is a great day for the Metropolitan Washington Airports Authority, and one that I can personally say I've been looking to for over 5 years. Today we're cutting the ribbon on Project Journey, a project driven by passenger growth. In 2019, national airports passenger counts were over 60% above the design capacity of the BC Concourse. To say the least, things were tight. But now our Project Journey facilities are opening for business. Gone is the infamous Gate 35X. I think we all remember that mosh pit of a hold room with buses to 14 hard-stand gates, all fully exposed to the elements, protected from neither rain, nor sleet, nor snow. Oh, that was a previous life. Okay. But you get the picture. It was tough out there. In its place, protected from the weather, a beautiful, spacious 14 contact gate concourse with exciting new concessions, multiple seating options, electrical power outlets for electronic devices, and world-class restrooms. And even our four-legged friends are being taken care of with our indoor pet relief area, a first for Reagan. So I think we do have a touch of class there, so we're good. And the ability to accommodate larger, more spacious regional aircraft. What an upgraded experience our American Airlines regional customers are going to get. And if that isn't not enough, a beautiful new spacious Admirals Club coming early next year. In addition, for the first time, Reagan National will have space specifically designated and designed for TSA security. Unfortunately, it's an absolute necessity in today's world. But look around. This is one of 2 new 50,000 square foot facilities built to comfortably house modern and more efficient TSA screening equipment and much needed TSA support area. In total, when we open these 2 new facilities on November 9th, there will be more screening lanes than at the current screening checkpoints, with room for more lanes to be added as passenger demand warrants. And what great timing, just as the November-December holiday passenger loads are expected to approach pre-pandemic levels. Let me take this opportunity for a special thanks to our partners at TSA. For their sacrifices throughout the pandemic, they were on the front lines, truly on the front lines every day. They have been among the true heroes in the aviation industry during this period of time. Administrator Pekoski, you have a great team here at our airports. They have been with us day in and day out. I want to thank Scott Johnson, our Federal Security Director, and Assistant Director Ron Milner, for your entire team. You are finally getting the space that you need and deserve. Now, once the new checkpoints are open, we begin the final stage of the project, the repurposing of National Hall, which will become an entirely secure area. Space captured from vacated checkpoints, from no longer needed stairwells, escalators, and elevators will be converted into new and exciting concessions, with more food and retail choices, additional restrooms, and more seating options. National Hall will truly be an area where people can relax, shop, dine, and take in the great views. The additional space created by making National Hall secure will enable us to move some concessions from the concourses out on the piers, relieving the congestion there, while affording space for additional seating. Overall, people will enjoy a completely upgraded experience from check-in through security to shopping, dining, relaxing before boarding their flight. And I have to tell you, there are just so many people that we need to thank for making all of this happen, beginning with the traveling public. A big thank you to all our passengers for your patience as we closed roadways and changed the logistics of how you navigate your way to the gate. And we didn't do this just once, we did it multiple times. Unfortunately, it's going to take us probably about another year to put the finishing touches on our roadways and all that we have planned for National Hall. But let me assure you that in the end, it will be well worth it. Similarly, thanks to our airline partners for working with us throughout this entire process as we worked hard to make the customer experience as seamless as possible. Thank you to TSA and FAA for helping us through the construction period, and our partners throughout this project, Turner Construction, representing today Executive Vice President Tom Riley, Senior Vice President Chris Beck, and Vice President Jeff Klinger and their team. Would they please stand up? Turner did a great job there. They're all the way in the back. Thank you. And of course, I'd be totally remiss if I didn't recognize the team that truly made it happen, and that's our MWA team, beginning with the MWA engineering team led by Raja Natsahara and Tom Beatty, and the MWA operations and public safety teams. I'm very proud of each and every member of the MWA team for their hard work, their collaboration not only internally but with others to make this dream a reality. There are just too many other people to thank as well, and there's much too little time. We have some great speakers that are going to follow me. So let me just give a global shout out to all who contributed in so many ways to get us to this point in Project Journey. Just a little logistics for everyone for the rest of the event. After the speaking portion of today's program, we will cut the ribbon right in front of the stage. Then we will proceed through the checkpoint right here. We'll make a right and go out into National Hall. That's the way you're going to proceed once this is open. And then we're going to take, in groups, go down to the new concourse and take a tour. Now, obviously, there's too many people to all do that at once, so we ask you just to, after the program's done, just to await instructions, and you'll be escorted to, again, take the tour. So it's now my pleasure to introduce the Chairman of the Board of the Metropolitan Washington Airports Authority, Bill Pseudo, who will welcome our special guests and introduce our speakers. Bill, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Jack. Very much appreciate it. And thanks to all of you for being with us. We are very honored to have so many distinguished leaders and guests at today's event. We are looking forward to hearing from several of them, including, and please hold your applause until I finish the list, of course, our Governor, Ralph Northam of the Commonwealth of Virginia, U.S. Senator Mark Warner from Virginia, Mayor Muriel Bowser of Washington, D.C., Congressman Don Beyer from Virginia, Congresswoman Eleanor Holmes Norton from the District of Columbia, FAA Administrator Steve Dixon, TSA Administrator David Pekoski, and American Airlines Executive Vice President of Corporate Affairs Stephen Johnson. In addition, we have a number of elected officials and other leaders from across the region, including our former colleague on the MWA board, Brad Mims, who is Deputy Administrator of FAA, and Assistant Administrator of FAA, Lawrence Wildgoose. From the D.C. government, we have Deputy Mayor John Falchicchio and D.C. Council members Anita Bonds and Brooke Pinto. From the Virginia legislature, we have Senator Jennifer Boysko and delegates Elizabeth Guzman, Kay Corey, Kathleen Murphy, Suhas Subramaniam, and Richard Rip Sullivan. From Fairfax County Government, we have representatives from Supervisor Stork's office, from the City of Alexandria's council members Koenig Aguirre and Amy Jackson, and from the Virginia Aviation Board, Chairman Roderick Hall. Tourism officials from around the region include Rita McClenny from the Virginia Tourism Corporation and Elliot Ferguson from Destinations DC. We also want to welcome members from the Metropolitan Washington Airports Authority Board of Directors. In addition to myself, joining us today are Vice Chairman Thorne Posen, Albert Dwoskin, Kate Hanley, Bob Lazaro, Mamie Mallory, Timothy Poole, Warner Sessions, David Speck, Walter Tejeda, and Jocelyn Williams. And I would also like to welcome several former MWA board members, my friend Earl Adams, who preceded me as chairman of the board, Barbara Lang, Brad Mims, who I mentioned earlier, and Nita Mitchell-Wells. Our airline partners are also well represented here today. In addition to a huge delegation from American Airlines, we have a strong turnout from Piedmont, PSA, Republic, Southwest, Alaska, Delta, United, JetBlue, and Frontier. And we have representatives here today from a number of groups that are tremendous supporters of the Airports Authority and its mission. And we'd like to thank them all for being here. They include the Committee for Dulles, Washington Airports Task Force, Arlington Chamber of Commerce, the Northern Virginia Chamber of Commerce, Arlington County Economic Development, the Greater Washington Board of Trade, the American Council International, American Association of Airport Executives, and Airlines for America. We also have many of our airport partners here today, including Paul McGinn and his team from Marketplace and our airport concessions operators, Travelers Aid, whose volunteers assist many people, and of course, Turner Construction, as Jack mentioned, our lead contractor on Project Journey. So we truly appreciate all of you being here to dedicate these wonderful facilities. We are grateful for all the support you give the airports and our mission of service to the traveling public and support to our region's economy. Speaking on behalf of myself and my colleagues on the board who represent Virginia, Maryland, and the District of Columbia and the federal government, it's an honor to serve our region through our work on the Airports Authority Board. We are also very proud of these new facilities, and we are most proud of the thousands of men and women across the Airports Authority and across the entire airport community whose hard work and dedication provide a great travel experience and have made these improvements at Washington National possible. So again, thank you all for being here and for your great support, and I know our passengers will enjoy their journey through Washington National more than ever before.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the podium the Governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia, the Honorable Ralph Northam.
Well, good morning. And after the morning fog lifted on us this morning, it's a great day to fly. Bill, it's just remarkable to hear you introduce and recognize all the individuals and groups that have made this possible today. But on behalf of Virginia, I just want to say to all of you, thanks so much for being part of the village that made this happen. It is good to see so many familiar faces. Mayor Bowser, it's always good to be with you. Senator Mark Warner, Congressman Beyer, Congresswoman Norton, and so many others, too many to mention. And this is definitely a great day for this region. As you know, so many Virginians and D.C. and Maryland residents rely on Reagan National when they fly. It's convenient to our nation's capital, just on the other side of the Potomac River. And I have to say that I'm always proud to remind folks that Reagan National is in the Commonwealth of Virginia. We can all agree that this airport, as was said, had become too popular for its own good. It needed more space to accommodate the volume of passengers and flights that pass through here every day. As a result, the folks here at Reagan have been working on this new Concourse project for several years now. It is tremendously exciting to finally be able to dedicate this new section of the airport with additional gates, new shopping and dining options, and more space. It is a friendlier, more welcoming place for all of the Virginians, Marylanders, and D.C. residents who use Reagan. We want it to be as easy and efficient as possible. And for many travelers, their first impression of Virginia is right here at this airport. Whether it's a tourist or a businessman deciding whether to move a large corporation to the DMV region, we want to make the best impression possible. This is a concourse we can all be proud of. The past nearly 2 years have been hard on everyone, including the aviation industry. COVID has had deep impacts on our airlines, and I know that they are still recovering. But I am confident there will be a day when this concourse is full and bustling. We all can look forward to that. I am grateful to everyone at DCA for this new forward-looking facility that will accommodate travelers' needs literally for years to come. So we are open for business, and we welcome you. So fasten your seatbelt, stow away your items, and let's get ready to take off. Thank you all so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the podium the Mayor of the District of Columbia, the Honorable Muriel Bowser.
Well, good morning, everybody. I am delighted to be with you and delighted to celebrate with the region today the remarkable progress that is being made here at Reagan National Airport. And I want to thank everyone who's been involved with it. I want to thank the CEO here at MY, as well as the board of directors, all the women and men who work here each and every day, all of the officials who have made sure that we've had, and the Airport Authority has all the resources that it needs to be successful. And since we're technically in Virginia, I want to honor the governor for all of his efforts to make sure that Virginia is open, and D.C. is open, and Maryland is open, and our region is open. To my friend and our warrior, Congresswoman Norton, Senator Warner, Congressman Beyer, all of our partners at the FAA and the TSA. We know, too, that you've been challenged by just the unprecedented changes that you needed to make in response to our fight against COVID, but also to making sure that our nation continued to move and that people continued to be able to make the business and familial connections they need in the air. So thank you for your hard work. We're joined also by members of the Council of the District of Columbia, Councilwoman Bonds and Pinto. Thank you for being here today. I have, as the governor has, I'm sure, been all over the district and indeed talking to big businesses all over our nation to assure them that we have done everything. Our public has done everything. The traveling public is also doing what it needs to do to make sure that we can bring travel back. It is so key to having a rich and thriving D.C. that our business travelers, our tourists are coming back. And what I love seeing here is that we've used a lot of time where we had less traffic to make improvements. And that is going to be a success of the last 18 months. I was literally getting excited as you were talking about the experience. And I have to applaud you for looking forward, seeing what we need to do to accommodate security, but also the experience for our travelers. People, when they come to Washington, they expect the best of the best, and I am thrilled that the reimagining of the hall puts the DC experience front and center, with having a shop made in DC, as well as the famous Ben's Chili Bowl and Timber Pizza. And so we look forward to people having that experience when they step off their planes and then come to Washington, DC. So congratulations. Know that we're right behind you in doing everything that we need to do to have this airport, all of our travelers have a great experience in Washington. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are joined today by members of our regional congressional delegation. Please welcome to the podium the United States Senator from Virginia, the Honorable Mark Warner.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. Governor, it's always great to see you, although, as you know, you should have been introduced as His Excellency the Governor, not the Honorable. Madam Mayor, it is always great to see you, members of the congressional delegation, state legislators, the MWA board. Jack, it's great to be back. As you know, Tim Kaine and I were here just about 2 weeks ago, where we got a little bit of a preview of what we're going to be touring today. There's enormous progress being made at Reagan. And I want to thank both the TSA folks and the FAA. Steve, thank you so much for your combination collaboration as well. This is exciting because the only thing more inefficient than Congress was Gate 35X. Now, Jack, as you know, I live, he and I are fellow Alexandrians. I live in Old Town, so this is my home airport. I spend more time coming in and out of Reagan over the years than virtually anywhere else. And I know I speak for almost everyone who uses this airport on a regular basis that you all have horror stories of experiences at 35X. I mean, I remember when my 3 daughters were small, and Lisa and I would come in, and you're trying to keep an eye on their daughters, and God forbid if they actually try to go to the bathroom, because what also happened at 35X was, let me give you my best impression of the PA announcers at 35X. Right now, you could never hear what planes were boarding. And they would often have 7 or 8 planes all leaving at once. And if you made the mistake of going to the bathroom when all these planes were coming in or going out, you could be caught at 35X for days. And as we're all about to see, and as somebody who's already had the wonderful experience of flying in to the new terminal, this is extraordinary. It is world class. It does represent the National Capital Region. It is a great gateway to D.C., the Commonwealth, and to our friends in Maryland. But this is only the first step, as Jack and Bill have indicated. We've got enormous new facility here, the transformation of thinking that we're going to go through TSA in these 2 facilities, the kind of complete reworking of National Hall, and the additional investments that will be made shortly in Terminal A in upgrading that facility. So the only thing we need to do, and I'm saying this to Eleanor and Don and Jerry and others, is we need to make sure that we go ahead and pass the record-setting $1.2 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill. Tell you, any bill that can get 69 votes in the place where I work is pretty darn special. And that will include $25 billion for airports. That will help these kind of capital improvements. It'll include, as we knew with our friends from Metro, we got together, $40 billion for public transit that will dramatically increase the reliability and capability of the metro system. It will include $66 billion for passenger rail, including the funding, Governor, that I know you've been a strong advocate on Long Bridge, trying to make sure we increase dramatically the capacity for passenger rail into the Commonwealth, adding trains all the way down to Christiansburg and hopefully onward to Bristol. It adds as well $47 billion for resiliency. We all know we grapple with weather events and climate change. This will be the first time the federal government's putting its money where its mouth is in terms of resiliency. It includes $65 billion for broadband, making sure that high-speed internet connectivity becomes a reality to every home and that connectivity is affordable, as well as record investments in roads and bridges, record investments in upgrading our electrical power grid to bring it to more energy efficient, EV infrastructure, EV buses. Let's get that done so that we can continue the progress that's being made at Reagan, continuing the progress in upgrading our transportation system, and continuing the progress to make, again, the National Capital Region the envy of the country and the world. Thank you all very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Honorable Don Beyer, whose congressional district includes Reagan National Airport.
Good morning. Good morning, Governor and Senator. Did you have something to do with that infrastructure bill, by the way, Senator? And Mayor and elected officials and Congresswomen and ladies and gentlemen, congratulations on the inauguration of the new Concourse 35X. I think it's very thoughtful that you named it after the most beloved and nefarious gate in America. Actually, let me quote President Gerald Ford, who said, "Our long national nightmare, 35X, has ended." And first, I want to congratulate Captain Kirk William Shatner for his 11-minute trip in space this morning past the Kármán line, and especially congratulate the Airports Authority for its vision and its execution in developing and completing this project. Project Journey is not just another construction project. Instead, it's an amazing contribution to make our community and our country a better place. And it's a historic investment in the most important airport in the world. This terminal creates a better passenger experience for the millions of people entering through the Great Way to our nation's capital. I also want to congratulate MWA for doing so much to guarantee a living wage for everyone who works at the airport, not just MWA authorities, but also the contract employers. Plus, if you're lucky enough to get to go out of Gate 59, you get to get all your steps in one day, in one fell swoop. It's important for me to note that this project expands and upgrades passenger facilities without adding capacity for any additional flights. So while the airport serves the entire nation, we have to remember there's a lot of people that live here too. And airport noise and the congestion is really important, whether it's in DC or Arlington or Alexandria. So managing that is really important. I want to thank the FAA for working so closely with us to make sure that we keep the planes over the rivers as long as we possibly can. And thank you also, as I serve in Congress, Eleanor and I, with people who like to fly out every week, thank you for maintaining the number of slots, and thank you for maintaining and enforcing the perimeter rule. So again, congratulations to the entire project team on this really important assignment. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the podium the Honorable Eleanor Holmes Norton, Member of Congress from the District of Columbia.
Thank you very much. Distinguished elected officials, it is not often that the entire region gathers in one place. Administration officials, Airports Authority Potter, airport officials. This is one of those extraordinary days in our region. Mark mentioned our bill that we're trying to get out, the Transportation Infrastructure Bill. I'm subcommittee chair. I must say, coming here gives me every incentive to get that bill out of the Congress of the United States. This airport is often the first experience visitors have when they come, certainly to the nation's capital or to the National Capital Region. We've waited long for this expansion to bring relief to the congestion that will facilitate the growing demand for air travel as the aviation industry flies out from under COVID-19 and into life as we had known it. This airport was built in 1941. At the time, it was considered ultra-modern in its building design, in its air traffic control, in its field lighting, and its passenger comfort. It was designed to accommodate 15 million passengers a year. By now, it is serving, or certainly by 2019, it had gone from 15 million to 24 million passengers a year. So changes were clearly needed to ensure that this airport could accommodate air travel into the 21st century. The 14 screening lanes across 2 buildings and the installation of environmentally friendly features designed to reduce heating and cooling costs will enable Project Journey to reduce gate area congestion and work towards sustainability for years to come. The new 14-gate Concourse will primarily operate regional flights, playing an important role in connecting regional communities to the nation's capital. However, it is also essential that we care for our neighboring communities and respond to their needs. And that has been one of my priorities as I serve on the subcommittee on air travel. As co-chair of the Congressional Quiet Skies Caucus, I've worked to protect this region from excessive aircraft noise, which is known to have a negative effect on human health. Earlier this year, I introduced the Washington, D.C. area Helicopter Noise Information Exchange Act. That requires the Federal Aviation Administration to make helicopter noise complaint data accessible to helicopter operators and FAA employees inside the 30-mile radius of Reagan Airport. I believe we can work together to engage with our community on these issues and to develop collaborative solutions. I watch with expectation the work of the Metropolitan Washington Airport Authority Reagan National Community Noise Working Group as you cultivate broad-based community participation to identify aircraft noise solutions and make recommendations to the FAA. We got to work on all sides at the same time as we open this new part of our airport. I congratulate the airport's authority on the exciting dedication of Project Journey, and I thank you for your continuing service to my city and to the entire National Capital Region.
Ladies and gentlemen, next we will welcome speakers representing our federal and airline partners. Coming to the podium is the Administrator of the Federal Aviation Administration, the Honorable Steve Dixon.
Well, good morning, everyone. It really is an honor and a privilege to be here with you. As Jack mentioned, we've got a strong FAA delegation here. I'm joined by Deputy Administrator Brad Mims, who is also, his heart's very close to this project as a former member of the Metropolitan Washington Airports Authority. You know, as someone who has flown into Reagan National for decades as a crew member and as a passenger, and frankly, as recently as early this morning, you know, this is a special place. And, you know, as some of the other speakers have noted, this literally is the front door to our nation's capital and the National Capital Region, the states of Virginia and Maryland, and really their first impression for many folks who are coming to the area. So from that standpoint, you know, I can tell you that this new concourse looks absolutely terrific. And it is, I think, a great example of collaboration between so many stakeholders, the airports, the airlines, the federal government. Our partners at TSA, of course, played a huge role in this. And so it is absolutely a tremendous accomplishment and a big day. The 14 new aircraft gates, improved security layout, the green features that are incorporated into the design, better access to amenities, which Jack was talking about. All of these provide a more welcoming experience for passengers, flight crews, and everyone who works here at the airport. And with the elimination of dreaded Gate 35X, passengers can board aircraft more efficiently and comfortably than before. So what a huge change. Now, the FAA is absolutely committed to supporting the modernization of our nation's airports and indeed our airport and aviation system, big, small, urban, and rural airports. They are an essential part of our nation's infrastructure. We are an aviation country. They provide an economic engine for communities all across the country. They make our country smaller, connect communities, and connect us with the world. In fact, the bipartisan infrastructure bill includes a total, as Senator Warner mentioned, of $25 billion for airports and air traffic control. So it'll be great to see that come to fruition, hopefully. The FAA was proud to support this new concourse. We conducted safety and environmental reviews, and importantly, I'm very proud of our team who kept the air traffic control system operating successfully and worked closely with the airport to ensure that flight operations could continue uninterrupted and in a safe and efficient manner during the entire construction process. And that work, of course, continues as I speak and going forward. So it's great to see the culmination of all these collaborative efforts and to see the value that this new concourse is now bringing and the opportunities that it opens up for us for the future. Now, we know that speaking of innovation, with the 14 new gates in place, the FAA will be able to deliver additional value when we implement a new system for managing airplanes that are taxiing out for departure and into their gates. Now, this is something that gets caught up in the FAA alphabet soup from time to time. It's something called our Terminal Flight Data Manager Program. And this is infrastructure in the form of technology that uses predictive analytics, data that we get from the airlines and from the airport to more accurately predict precise gate departure times and takeoff times. As we know, the ground operation and the real estate footprint here is very limited. And so it's great to have all this capacity, but we don't want taxi queues out to the end of the runway. So the software calculates when it's best to have the airplane push back from the gate at busy hub airports so that they can roll out right to the runway. You know, with the challenges of COVID over the past 19 months, more passengers coming back into the aviation system are certainly going to benefit from the improvements made here and also the improvements that we're making to our air travel system. And this software that I talked about, we're going to reduce taxi delays, ramp congestion, make it a more pleasant experience and a greener experience for the traveling public. We reduce aircraft fuel burn, carbon dioxide emissions, while saving minutes of taxi time off of each flight. So this airport will be one of the 27 airports in the coming years where we roll out this capability. We will, at the FAA, will continue to partner with our nation's airports so that we can realize these innovations to make flying more efficient, more equitable, and more sustainable while continuing to meet our important safety responsibilities in the service of the public. So thank you for including us in the dedication today. Again, it's an honor to be here. Thank you.
Please welcome to the podium the Administrator of the TSA, the Honorable David Pekoski.
Well, good morning, everyone. It is a real honor to be here today and to follow so many distinguished speakers that preceded me. And I'm really honored to represent the over 60,000 employees of the Transportation Security Administration and to be here as we open in just a few weeks the two newest checkpoints in the entire country. I mean, it's a significant improvement for us. I am super excited by what we see as possibility here to operate these checkpoints and to better serve the traveling public. But one thing that I'd like to highlight is this airport in particular has special significance to TSA. It was on the 19th of November of 2001, shortly after 9/11, that President George W. Bush signed the Aviation and Transportation Security Act of 2001, which established TSA, and he did it right here at Reagan National Airport. So this is really the birthplace of TSA, if you will. And that act was truly a bipartisan effort as we united as a nation to protect our people and to protect our vital transportation system from acts of terrorism. One of the things the law required was, within a year of enactment, it required the TSA to federalize, to provide federal screening at over 400 airports around the country. And so you can imagine this was an absolutely Herculean effort for the new TSA and really for our partners across the country. So as we approach our 20th anniversary, it's good to be here, having been here in Washington, D.C. on 9/11, hoping this airport would reopen, knowing that the airport was relatively new at that point in time, to see now, almost 20 years later, that we have purpose-built security checkpoints here and a purpose-built concourse, which is really important for us. I mean, oftentimes you think of TSA as working in the screening checkpoints, but we truly work around the entire airport. And to build in and design security into a new concourse, limited access points, better lines of sight, better monitoring really improves security overall. These new two 50,000 square foot each screening checkpoints increase the screening capacity from 20 to 23 with additional capacity for 5 more. And so if you think about the capacity improvement potential there, it's about a 40% increase in capacity. I love that. I mean, that really makes sure that we can do our level best to provide world-class security to passengers that come through this airport and world-class passenger experience for them while they're here. Each of the checkpoints will include ample space for travelers, and one of the challenges we always had at airports where we built in checkpoints to existing infrastructure was sometimes the area that was left for passengers to recompose, to collect their belongings before they went into the concourse was very short, and it is short here in some locations. So this provides much better room. But the key thing that I would emphasize to everyone here today is the opening of these new checkpoints does 2 key things for us collectively as travelers. One, it significantly improves the security we will be able to provide. And secondly, it enhances the passenger experience, and that's critically important. So all the new technology that you're going to see in this checkpoint, from the time you begin the screening process until the time you end, results in much better security and much better passenger experience. For example, in identity verification, that's much quicker, and we will gradually eliminate the need for a boarding pass for TSA screening purposes because we have all of a passenger's flight information electronically. With carry-on bag X-ray systems, we can see more inside the bag than we could ever see before based on new technology, which for a passenger means fewer things need to come out of the bag. Really important from a convenience perspective and also really important from a health perspective. One of the things we saw in COVID-19 was the extent that we could reduce contact between a passenger and a passenger's belonging and the screening process, the better. And then one of the new improvements that I'm most excited about is better on-person screening. The net result of all this will be we will reduce the need for pat-downs by a significant amount. And that's going to be welcome news to my officers and certainly welcome news to passengers. But in closing, I want to recognize and thank all of our partners who made this day possible and congratulate MWA, to congratulate Reagan National Airport and the Project Journey team for this achievement. With the opening of these checkpoints and the new concourse, aviation security has been strengthened and the passenger experience at DCA has been improved. And as I conclude, let me recognize those who worked tirelessly to ensure safe and secure air travel here at DCA. As was mentioned, this is National Police Week, and I salute all the law enforcement officers who protect us in and around airports and surface transportation systems each and every day. I'd also like to highlight the flight crews, the flight deck and the flight attendants and gate agents who ensure our safety and security while boarding and while in flight, our FAA partners and the airport staff, and especially to our transportation security officers, our federal air marshals, and the DCA TSA team, who do very difficult and mission-critical work each and every day. And I'd really like to recognize the team here at DCA for their partnership with MWA, with DCA, in making this a reality. We worked very hard on this. We worked very hard because we have such a close relationship with our partners here at DCA and MWA, and we greatly appreciate and value that partnership. Thank you very much.
Please welcome to the podium Steve Johnson, American Airlines Executive Vice President of Corporate Affairs.
I'd planned to start my remarks with a joke about Gate 35X, but there's been so many. And frankly, after the remarks earlier today, I feel like I should offer a rebuttal. But I'm not. Don't worry, I'm not going to do that. But I will just say simply, 35X, may you rest in peace, and may you be forgotten. But I'm thrilled to be here today with so many distinguished leaders, Senator Warner, Congressman Bowser, Congresswoman Holmes Norton, Governor Northam, Mayor Bowser, Administrator Dixon, Administrator Pekoski. First of all, congratulations. I mean, this is beautiful. This is wonderful. You deserve a huge round of applause for your leadership in bringing this about. And I want to thank all the leaders, and especially the senators and members of Congress, for everything that the government has done for the airline industry during the pandemic. Every single one of our frontline team members, 85,000 of them, is a member of a labor union, and the payroll support program was a lifeline to our team members and their families. So thank you very much. American Airlines is proud to be Washington, D.C.'s hometown carrier, but we're also the top airline in Virginia, notwithstanding the claims of one of our competitors. We carry more passengers to and from Virginia than any other airline, and we're the only airline that serves all 8 commercial airports in the Commonwealth. So we're very excited about that. Project Journey will be most closely associated with sending Gate 35X to the ash heap of history. But the broader project represents $1 billion of investment that has modernized DCA for the next generation of travelers going to and from the capital. Also, it's worth taking a minute to talk about the project. This was more than, some people have said that we've spent 15 years thinking about it. It was 7 years in the making. Development at airports, building things at airports, is always really complicated, but this was especially so. I mean, you look at the pictures and you say, hey, it's a pretty simple building built on a flat piece of land, no-brainer, right? Well, appearances can be deceiving. And I want to take a second to give a shout out to the unsung heroes of this project, the architects, the engineers, the geologists who actually took this piece of swampland and were able to turn it into the beautiful terminal that you're going to see this afternoon. And we're so grateful for our partnership, and I do mean partnership, with Jack Potter and the MWA board, which made this ambitious transformation possible. If I could, I'd like to just offer some special thanks, too. First to Jack for your vision, your friendship, your unwillingness to give up, and everything you did to make this project a reality. I want to mention a couple of members of my team. First, Mike Minerva and Amanda Jang, first for sharing Jack's vision those many years ago, and particularly Amanda for having the tenacity to get this project done on behalf of American Airlines, and to a very special group of people at American Airlines who looked after our passengers, our customers, over the course of the last few years, especially as they anticipated 35X going away. So a shout out to Radney Robertson, who runs DCA for us, and to Nate Gatton and Steve Newman and Norma Kaler and the rest of our government affairs team who had the responsibility for taking care of our very special customers who use Washington National. But most especially, on behalf of all of us at American, thank all of you for your unwavering support and partnering with us to make this vision and to make this new DCA a reality. It's going to mean a lot for American Airlines, a lot for aviation, and a lot for the community. We're very grateful. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the podium Airports Authority CEO Jack Potter.
Thank you. Well, again, let me just close by thanking everyone for being here today. Thank you to all our speakers. Great words of encouragement. And thank you to all our partners who make that happen. And a lot of them in this room, and there are just too many to mention again. Now we're going to do, as I said earlier, we're going to have the ribbon cutting. So I'm going to ask the speakers to come up and stand on the blue line. And then we're going to move through the security checkpoint out to the new concourse, and we'll do that in groups. So please await instructions. Thank you all. Have a great day.